Welcome back, everyone. Well, today we're going to start taking stuff off the ceiling, removing lights, removing speakers, starting the prep work of removing these inner panels. Thankfully, the bus, of course, passed its VIN inspection, so it doesn't have to go anywhere for any time soon. So, time to get this whole interior ripped out of here. This is the method I'm going to try this time. This is an air hammer with the pin bit on it. So we're going to take this, put it right up here in the middle of the pin, and push it through. There we go. So, I've already tried this on a few of these. What I'm going to do is continue to push these pins out as I go up across the top. And once I get them all out of there, we'll take the flat blade and remove all of these outer portions of the outer rivet. It's actually going to go a lot faster, I think, than if I got up here with a grinding wheel and tried to take them off that way. What I just found out, I put the flat blade on the air hammer and tried to take some of these rivets off. It does not work. I don't know, maybe I got the wrong tool, but definitely not working. So what I did instead was use that flat blade and just put it up here against the rim of the roof panel just to make myself some space. So now that I got that, I can use a pry bar and just pull this whole thing down. So now that we have all the rivets disconnected, I'm just going to grab up here in the middle and just pull it down. That far side over there is probably going to cause a little bit of trouble, just because there are some rivets that are still attached. But if I can get it to start, then usually right down. There we go. up. I've got one rivet left over here. There we go. There we are. So I'm going to keep working to take the rest of these down, and I'll show you what we get. Alright, let's take the back panel down. So I've got a line of screws up here holding this rear ceiling panel in place, and it looks like that's all part of what's holding this back piece in. So let's get those down and see what I can do with this. In fact, I'm going to take this down too. Watch your eyes when you're doing this. And your head. Okay, note to self, all you have to do is take out the lower screws. The ones on the face of the pad are not necessary. Got some sealant around the back here, it's probably going to get in the way. That one broke. Never mind, those are just smaller. Well, that was a job. 800 some odd rivets later, and here's where we stand. Yep, the inside of the bus is a mess again. But we have all the ceiling panels disconnected. They're all removed. Most of the rivets are out. Some of them I still need to get up there and grind off the edges. Got a couple of cross members that went around the escape hatches that they ran some wiring through. I left them there for the time being. I'll cut those loose, get them off of there. Here's my pile. Up front here. There's the other hatch. These last couple were a bit of a pain to take off. So this bus had an air conditioning unit sitting right up here, so I had to do some extra removal to get that off from over the door. Down here, you can see the plumbing and the wiring left over from it. Up here, this was a combination of rivets holding in the cover panel that went across in front of the, well, I guess behind the AC unit, up in here. And this obviously is the lower framework for the door mechanism. This is a manual door. Up in here I did not remove the front panel just yet. I intend to. But unfortunately, unlike the rear, which was screwed together, this one was riveted on. So a lot of these rivets, because of the way I was reaching, I had to chew up the metal that they were attached to. You can see up in here there's still some of the rivets left. So this is all coming out anyway, so it won't make any real difference. Over here, this is the location for the air horn. So here's your cable. Right here. This was connected up underneath the windshield up here. There we go. Up in there. I don't think I did any damage to the wiring. So now, my plan is, most of the insulation is still up there. That's all coming down, obviously. What I want to do, though, is mark all of these wires for what they were. So the individual white ones like this were lighting, and then we had pairs like this that went to speakers. So it's my intention to go ahead and run speakers throughout the bus, but I think I'll probably remove a lot of this wiring, or at least cut it back. I guess we'll see. It's not bad wiring. I'm not planning on blasting it either, so I might be able to make use of some of that. But anyway, yeah, I'll do some marking on the wires and then pull down this insulation. I'll end up pulling the majority of the wiring harness out of the ceiling so I can start putting up some strapping. Now, next step, I want to get all of this mess out of here, put it on the trailer so I can take it down to the scrapyard. Then I'm going to start working on these lower side panels. So these guys need to come out. Down here, this lower stuff is part of the bus structure, so I'm going to leave that in place, but obviously this is all riveted in too. So a bit more work, and then I need to get rid of all this mess too. But we're getting there. That rear panel will come out. I'll see how much of the rear sheet metal I can take off. I do intend to leave the door buzzer in place for the rear door, mainly because that's going to be separated from the primary living space. And I just want a reminder to make sure that that latch is closed when I go to drive away. So I'll probably leave that in, but that does mean an extra box that has to sit over there. So we'll see how it goes. So next steps, I'm going to get rid of all of this sheet metal, get it on the trailer so I can get it out to the scrapyard. Get all this mess cleaned up so I can get to these lower wall segments. They're all riveted in place as well, so I'll need to take them out, but at least I'm not working overhead this time around. Take down all the insulation, get all the upper wires marked indicating what they are so I don't lose track of them later on. I might be able to reuse some of it. I think the lighting wiring I might pull out of the harness and see if I can put some low lights in place connected to the original switches. I want most of my camper lighting connected to the battery bank for the camper and hooked up with switches on the back here. But it would be nice to have some low running lights to be able to use if necessary as a backup. Thank you for watching this video. Please stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to be taking the lower segments off the walls and continuing the disassembly. I'll see you over the next horizon.